One of the most fundamental parts of any study routine is reading, and sometimes a lot of it. But how do you remember everything you read? And what exactly are you supposed to do while you read except read? One very effective method you could use while you're reading textbooks is called SQR3. SQR3. No, it's not a robot. It's a reading strategy. SQR3 stands for survey, question, read, recite, and review. Now, let's suppose you're getting ready for a particular test, and in order to prepare for the test, you need to reread that chapter in your textbook. The first step in the SQR3 method is to survey the chapter. When you do a survey, you do a quick preview, just really fast. Read the chapter title, introduction, and summary. Pay attention to headings and subheadings. Look at the charts, diagrams, graphs, or maps. Pay attention to chapter vocabulary and words that are bold or italicized. They're important. Finally, skim the end of the chapter discussion topics or questions. Next, you'll want to formulate questions. You can do this by turning headings and subheadings into questions. This section is headed Louisiana Purchase, and there's a subheading called Thomas Jefferson. Your questions might be, what is the Louisiana Purchase? Or, what is the connection between the Louisiana Purchase and the expedition of Lewis and Clark? Or, what was Jefferson's role in the Louisiana Purchase? It's a good idea to jot these questions down because they'll be an important guide as you read the chapter. Now you're ready to read. Read each section, keeping in mind the questions you've just formulated. After you read a section, try to answer the questions that you've created. Don't skip over words you don't understand. Look them up. Grab a dictionary. Try to figure out the main idea of the section. And if you can't, or you're finding the section a little difficult to read, go ahead and reread it. If you read with a notebook, you can keep track of things that confuse you. And make sure you ask your teacher about things you don't understand. As you read, try to summarize each section in your notebook. Sometimes writing things down helps you better understand and remember material. Next up is to recite. This may sound a little, well, strange, but reciting the main ideas of a chapter that you've read out loud can actually help you know if you've understood it or not. If you didn't get something you read, it might sound like this.
So like the president or something bought the state of Louisiana from some other guy, and he sent these explorers to explore it. He saw a bunch of stuff, like cities and French people, and then he came back.
If you sound like that, then you definitely need to reread the chapter. But if you sound like this...
Right. So Jefferson purchased the Louisiana Territory from France in 1803, and it doubled the size of the United States. He then commissioned Lewis and Clark to explore the land. Sacagawea, a Native American woman, helped them on the journey. Lewis and Clark kept eating.
That means you got it, and you're ready to move on. You know, reciting or thinking aloud is a pretty good overall study strategy. You can spell vocabulary words out loud, repeat math formulas, or read essays that you've written. Some people even like to read their textbooks out loud. Remember, you have to figure out which strategies will work best for you. The final step in the SQR3 strategy is to review. When you review, you go back over the material you've read. Reread any section that you made notes about and make sure that you can still answer the questions you originally posed. By using the SQR3 method of survey, question, read, recite, and review, you'll have all your bases covered. Elephants. What, might you ask, do elephants have to do with study skills? Anybody? Anybody? No? Well, here's the thing. Elephants never forget. Unfortunately, people do. And when you're taking tests, that could be a real problem. What then can be done while you're studying that can help you be more like an elephant? In other words, what can you do to improve your memory? 2 words: mnemonic devices. Mnemonic devices are tricks that help you retrieve information from your memory. What I'm really saying is that mnemonic devices help you remember things. An acronym is a group of letters where each letter stands for a word. For example, SCUBA is an acronym that stands for Self-Contained Underwater Breathing Apparatus. NASA is the National Aeronautics and Space Administration. And if you're AWOL, you better return ASAP. Acrostics are invented sentences, usually silly ones, where the first letter of each word in the sentence is a memory cue. Did I ever tell you that my very educated mother just served us 9 pizzas? Or that King Phil came over for the jeans special? The method of loci is a mnemonic strategy that can help you remember facts by linking them with specific locations. Let's go back to the Louisiana Purchase. Suppose you need to remember the key players, Thomas Jefferson, Sacagawea, and Lewis and Clark. Here's what you do. Select a place, a location in which you've spent a lot of time, say, on the first floor of your house. Imagine walking past specific places in that location, the couch, the television, a bookshelf, or refrigerator. Now, picture yourself walking through that same location and past those same things, only this time, imagine Meriwether Lewis lounging on your sofa. William Clark changing the channels on the TV. How about Thomas Jefferson selecting the book from the bookshelf? And Sacagawea getting something out of the fridge. Making up rhymes can also be an effective way to help you remember information you may need for a test. We all remember what happened in 1492? In 1492, Columbus sailed the ocean blue. And how many days are in September? You know. You can make up your own rhymes about anything. And please, feel free to be silly. The point of these rhymes is to help you remember, not to win a poetry contest. Lewis and Clark went out on a mission in 1804, a great expedition. Well, it's not Shakespeare, but I bet it'll work. Studying may never be something you're crazy about, but that doesn't mean that it shouldn't be done or that it has to be a nightmare. All it means is that you have to find and use strategies that make studying as painless and productive as possible. To remember the basics of good study skills, how about another acronym? All you have to do is focus. Find a good place to study, one in which you'll feel alert. Organize. Get organized and stay organized. Concentrate. Practice strategies that help you concentrate on the task at hand. Use those mnemonic devices, acronyms, acrostics, method of loci, and rhyming. SQR3, remember that one? When you read, try surveying, questioning, reading, reciting, and reviewing. Practicing good study skills could mean the difference between this and this. Nice.